Hey everybody, welcome to GGS Railways. My name is Greg, this is my YouTube channel. Alright, tonight what are we doing? What's going on? We got a bunch of stuff here on the table. So before we get started good, because most people watch the beginnings of the videos, so I want to do a clarification based on one of you guys' comments. And it did not occur to me until you made the comment, but I need to clarify. So, we talked the other day when we were doing the steam locomotive lot with the other cars that we cleaned up, the Tinplate cars, that we're using WD-40 on them to clean the tin litho, and it wasn't, it didn't harm the tin litho and all that. I was singing the praises, and somebody commented that, they didn't know that WD-40 made a contact cleaner. Now I want to be very, very clear about this. This that I'm spraying on came out of this can. This is WD-40 in this bottle. This contact cleaner should not ever go on your tin litho bodies. No, this is for your electrical motors, electrical contacts, as it states. So, all right, I just thought I would point that out real quick, make that clarification, because, wow, I would hate for somebody to say, yeah, Greg said spray some WD-40 on it, it's great. And yeah, you would have a nice shiny locomotive, all right. You just wouldn't have any paint. All right, so let's get on with the video. Let me get this camera dropped down. Let's actually talk about what we're doing. All right, so we have an awful lot of Baltimore and Ohio railroad paraphernalia up here on the table, and it's all by Marx. Now, you might notice that we have a different locomotive that you've probably, well, I know you've never seen it because I've never shown anybody because I just got it. So you might be looking at, this little corner right here. You might be saying to yourself, gosh, Greg, can you fix that? No, no, I cannot. So we talked about the WD-40 and, some taking off the rust. This is not at all what I meant. Tin litho is actually a process where the image is printed onto the steel. And so once it comes off, it's just, there's no repairing that, okay? So, all right, so why in the world would we buy this? Why in the world would somebody buy something that's this rough? And it is rough. It's one of the rougher ones I think I've ever come across. He's got some bent axles up here, and he's just not real great, but so interesting, and this just goes to prove that you kind of need to keep an open mind. So I opened up this little motor, and the reason I actually bought this was because one of our viewers said he had a Marx B&O diesel, and that the wheels were messed up on it. And I noticed the wheels were good on this one, and the wheels on the diesel are just slightly different than the steam locomotives. You notice they don't have spokes. They got the smooth, and of course they don't have the connectors for the drive rods because it's not a steam locomotive. But anyway, so I took this guy out. Now another interesting thing, and I know I just interrupted myself. I remarked the other day that somebody had put the washer in there, and I had found that I needed to do that on mine. Well, apparently they must come with this because, apparently I was just missing mine, and that's why I had to add it. So, I didn't think up anything after all. That's all Marx right there. So, all right, back to what I was saying. So anyway, I bought this, and yeah, it's rough, it's nasty, and I thought, well, I'll just buy it for the wheels. I'll send them to the guy, and everybody be happy because when you can save a model train, that's what you should do, right? So, all right, but as I'm looking at this motor, I'm thinking, wow, this guy is actually in really good shape. The wires are nice, and they're not cracked or burnt. The insulation is still on it. It's still flexible. The wheels are good. They're attached. That armature looks, wow, it looks pretty nice in there. The brushes aren't stuck in the tunnels. And here in a minute, we're going to stick this guy on the track. And anyway, this guy is going to go to a new home, and I think probably the person I'm sending this to will probably use the entire drive unit. It is very, very simple, as you just saw, to get in and out of this shell. So anyway, that's what this guy is doing up here, and later on we'll just take a look at that just briefly and see what we see. All right. So next, let's move on to the next thing. All right, guys. So we got the Baltimore and Ohio Marx stuff here on the table. And we're going to give it a clean up. So how can you tell if your Marx stuff is dirty? Well, that might sound like a stupid dumb question, a dumb query. But if you can run your hand across it and you go ooh, that's a pretty good indication. These guys should be almost super slick. And so if you feel anything like something stuck to it, or dust, dirt, whatever, that's definitely not going to be good for it. you know, a lot of times your moisture and stuff will get underneath that dust and it will actually eat these little guys, and you just don't want that. You want these guys clean. So all right, yeah, they don't feel good. So I didn't take a feel of the one that we're that we're sending off for parts, and unfortunately, you know, there is a point where they become parts. It doesn't happen often on this channel because I like to save everything, but you know, you just cannot possibly save that particular one unless, of course, you know, you have some way to relitho the body. I don't have that. I don't even know where you start on that. So all right, so as I've alluded to many times, and once again, what is in this bottle is WD-40. It's not window cleaner, it's not the contact cleaner, it's this. And the only reason it's in this spray bottle is because I can spray a higher volume at once, get them soaked down real good, and it lasts a little bit longer than the can. Not a lot comes in that can. This is a gallon, so it goes a long way. So if you're gonna do this, that's the way I suggest you go. So all right, so once again, as I showed you on the steam unit lot, we're just going to soak these guys down. So as I alluded to yesterday, I paused because I felt something funny. As I alluded to yesterday, you don't want to like just immediately start scrubbing these. You want to let the solvent kind of do its work. You know, start loosening and removing some of that rust and stuff, and it will do that. You'll be really surprised. So all right, so this guy I noticed when we initially looked at him, the underside here is really rusty. So all right, we're gonna try to see if we can't remove the rust, but we can slow it down or stop it or make it look better or something, because you know, we want this guy to last as long as he possibly can. So once again, the secret is spray it on, don't mess with it. So don't worry about it if you're gonna get it on the wheels or whatever. Later on we will wipe everything down, because you know, just a note. You don't want WD-40 on your track. Whew. That is a situation where you will fight much longer than you could have ever anticipated, trying to get that back to where, you know, things don't slip and slide. So all right, that's the dog with the dog bowl. All right, that is the same dog that popped the bubbles last time. All right, so I guess she likes being in the videos. So all right, so we got the powered unit all sprayed down. I'll let him soak. And I don't know why it's a him as opposed to a her, but I guess I don't know. Anyway, so all right, this guy here has some bad spots in the lithographing, but I mean, it's not so extensive that, you know, that's all you're gonna see. Once again, that other guy, I just don't think that he would ever really come back. So all right, you know, we might try it someday just to try it, but the motor is definitely going someplace else. Somebody in need. That's the nice thing to do, right? So all right, so once again, I'm just going to kind of spray down the bottom. Probably normally one would not do that, or I don't know, maybe they would. All right, I've already serviced all these wheels, so for those of you that endured through my steam unit and watched me do all the wheels, you will not have to watch that tonight. All we're doing tonight is we're simply going to clean these up and buff them a little bit with a soft rag, and you know, that's probably going to be about it for this video. Had a really long day at work today, and just now getting over a head cold. You may have noticed in the steam locomotive video that I shot, I had a lot of energy at the start, and at the end I just ran out of gas. Well, I was getting sick and I just didn't know it. So all right, but I am better, but not 100% just yet. So all right, spraying this guy down. So interesting thing I kind of want to show you guys on this one. So Marx used the same, or a lot of the same materials and the same patterns and things for years and years. So sometimes it's really difficult to find, you know, an indicator of year or whatever made. I'm not sure what the chronological order or or when Marx changed things over, because they weren't real good about making that kind of information public. I mean, there's some general guidelines and so forth, you know, errors and whatever. But anyway, my whole point in saying that, and I'm going to see if this will zoom in on this guy. So you might notice that these are two identical cars, and you notice that they're not identical. So what I mean by that, I'm going to zoom this in here for a second so you guys can see, but let's see. All right, so while they look like they are identical and they probably came out about the same time, well, no, they did not. So, and the way that we know that is because these couplers, while they're the same type of couplers as this, they are metal. And you'll notice that the wheels on this example are much smaller than this guy. So just because, and sometimes I make, assumptions and you guys correct me, and you're certainly welcome to do that in this case as well. I'm not, I like to know things, so, correct me. So, all right, but anyway, what I was going to say is that I assumed that this guy would have been later just because he has the plastic butterfly couplers as opposed to the metal ones. Now, whether that's accurate or not, who knows? But anyway, I think we can probably assume, just because of the size of the wheels, that these are probably different errors. And I'm really thinking that this one's probably the older one. I don't know. What do you guys think? So, all right, back to the cleaning. So, all right, so we got this guy all sprayed down. Got him soaking. Let's get his little twin, but not twin, sprayed down here. I guess younger brother, older brother, whatever it is. And yeah, pretty good. So, all right, I'm spraying these down a little more liberally than I usually do because these are kind of particularly nasty. Like I said, you can kind of feel them, and you can kind of feel these are rough and not smooth like they should be. So, your touch and your feel will tell you a lot, because once again, these should be, pretty doggone smooth. They should be very pleasant to the touch. So, all right, bringing this guy down. So now you see why I put this WD-40 in this big spray bottle, because I can really just, I guess, hose this guy down. So, all right, very cool. So I'm hoping this caboose will turn out nice. We'll see. All right, so let those guys soak, and we will be back in just a few minutes. We're gonna let them soak, and then we'll get to blotting them, and we'll get to that in a minute. You'll see. All right, so while these guys soak, the ones that we were trying to clean up, let's just do a little experiment with the one that we're not trying to clean up, and let's just see what the WD-40 will do on it. Now, once again, it's not going to repair this tin litho where it's missing. Once again, that's some sort of printing process that prints it directly on the steel. So obviously, once it's gone, it's just gone. Boy, this one, this one feels. Woof. That's really amazing that it can look and be this rough, but the little motor inside is just like this little hidden gem. I love that. I love that so much. So, all right. So yeah, once again, unfortunately, some things do eventually just get to the point where they are pretty much just parts. So, all right. So I'm gonna let that guy soak. We'll come back in a few minutes and see how we did on that, and that'll give us an excuse to let the ones that we really are trying to make look better soak a little bit more. So I'll be right back. Alright, so on some of the more grimy, that's a word I guess, for these Marx tin litho, I will take actually a toothbrush. Obviously you wouldn't want to go and get your good toothbrush, but one that's wore out, one that you're not using anymore. It's a nice thing to have around to clean, and I'm just going to kind of go over this guy, and the only thing we're trying to do is kind of get the dirt out of the cracks and so forth, because he is so rough, and we'll just see how that works out. So I'm not going to stay in any spot just a real long time. I've never had, and I know you guys are tired of hearing this, the WD-40 take off any paint or anything like that, but I want to be real careful and not like just scrub it off. So if that makes any sense at all, I guess that's possible, although once again it just never happened. So all right, so we got this side. I don't really see any point in doing anything with those front wheels. I think this show will probably become a trackside attraction at best. So all right. So it's coming pretty clean where the tin litho still is. Now this guy's got quite a few little creases and accidents and stuff. That's actually pretty common on these tin litho guys. As you can probably imagine, this thin tin does not crash very well. So yeah. So all right, it's coming clean, kind of, sort of. So all right. So we're gonna get the end here. So all right, so this is an interesting thing, and I don't know if my camera can see it, but you see how the corner here is kind of turning back to almost bare metal? That's that WD-40 taking off that rust. That it is the most amazing process. I just I promise you, nobody's paying me to say that. I'm just like constantly amazed. I don't know. Wow. Maybe it's just weird that I'm amazed. Maybe everybody knows that. I don't know. It's all right. It's all right. I'm going to let this sit a little bit. We'll come back in a little bit. We'll blot it all off. and we'll see what this guy did. So once again, this toothbrush is nice for areas like this where you got the vent, where you know, obviously can't get in those little ridges. So all right, we'll be right back. Promise we will. All right, guys. So after I shot that last segment, I went to bed. This is actually the next day. So these guys have been soaking in this WD-40, and yeah. So for about what, 24 hours, I guess. So all right, let's get to buffing these down. Let's get to wiping them off. Let's see how we did, and yeah, that'll be good. We'll see what we did. So all right, as you see, this guy is looking pretty freaking nice. So I have a little bit of a surprise for you guys, and I noticed it earlier today, but I just now got back to filming this segment. So anyway, we'll look at it together here in a minute. So all right, that guy cleaned up quite nice. I think anybody can agree with that. We'll show it up close a little bit here in a little bit, I guess. And yeah, so very cool. So all right, that's one. All right, here we have another one. Just wiping it off. So once again, we just let the WD-40 do its work, and on this tin litho, that works just really awesome. So all right, wow, that looks awesome. All right, last but not least is this guy. So all right, looking good. We're gonna get them all wiped down, and then we're gonna talk about them. That's what I like to do. Wow, that is looking really sharp. So while I'm wiping off these other cars, which one of these do you suppose was the one that had the messed up lithograph? What do you guys think about that? While I clean up these other pieces of rolling stock here. So yeah, I mean, like I alluded to yesterday, or earlier, I guess, in the video, the WD-40 obviously is not going to restore the lithograph, because once again, that's a process where the image is actually printed on the metal, the tin, and so yeah, it doesn't restore anything. It just kind of gets the rust off, the surface rust. Sometimes the rust is over the lithograph, but there is usually like a seed of rust, if that makes any sense at all, a source where it started, and it kind of spreads, and sometimes it will spread on the surface of that lithograph. Now that's not the case in the one I showed you, the locomotive I showed you yesterday that we actually bought for parts. But anyway, still cleaning. So we got the caboose to go. Then we're going to take a really close look and see how we did. I'm just telling you that they're looking pretty sharp. Looking pretty good here. All right. Wow. So all right. So every time that you clean these like this, especially the ones that are grimy and nasty, they'll come a little bit cleaner every time. That's just kind of something that happens. All right, here we have the caboose. So all right, these guys are all looking really nice. Once again, we will take a really close look here in a minute. All right. Very good. Man, that is really looking nice. So all right, I think we are about ready to show you guys how these turned out. And so yeah, all right. So did you guys figure out which one of these diesel locomotives is the one with the messed up spot? And I put this camera in a way that I don't think you can see it. If you can, well, yeah, you probably figured it out. So all right. So did you guess this one? Because no, it's not this one. This is the one that we're keeping. This is very nice. And as you can see, it did not turn out perfectly. Let me see if I can get this zoomed in a little bit more here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. All right. But it's got some wear and tear and some things on it. And you see the little spots, but this is what I'm talking about. The rust will like start here and then kind of spread on the top, the stain. But anyway, this guy cleaned up really nice, and certainly nothing to be ashamed of on that. So all right, So this one is actually the B unit, so it's not this one either that had the messed up thing. Now I noticed that he's a little damp still here. Nothing we can't fix with this little cloth. It's all right, there we go. It's all right, so yeah, he looks pretty good as well. I think you all can agree. So I mean, that tin litho turned out really, really nice. So all right, here's kind of an example of, you know, if you have bad spots in your tin litho, you know, the rust is still there, but you know, it has stopped it from staining it. And you know, of course, you know, the lithograph is still missing, but you know, that's just kind of part of it. Now, some of these spots and things are going to be more difficult to get off than others. Like for instance, this raised portion where it's got this, you know, indent right here. This is going to be really, really difficult to get off, and you know, this will just take some time. And once again, we'll just, every time we get them out, we'll just spray them back down. So all right, so this guy here, this is the one. Wow, I don't know why these all feel damp still. Maybe I was in too big of a hurry to show you guys or something. Let's see. Man, I thought I had this good. So all right, let me make sure it's on the camera. Nope, it's not. Now it is. So all right, I think we can all agree that this guy looks pretty good at face value. Now this is the one that came damaged that we bought actually for parts, and so as you can see, the stain and so forth is there. Now what you'll notice is that well, you'll just have to take my word for it, that this is smooth now. This is no longer got the protruding rust, and yeah, it just totally changed the look of that, didn't it? So this is still parts. This will still be the motor that we're gonna send off, but you know, I wanted to put it back together so it wouldn't be real obvious when I said, you know, can you guess which one? So all right, so let's take a look at some of the rolling stock and how we did. Get this guy out of the way. So all right, I'm gonna give this a little bit more of a wipe because apparently I was in too big of a hurry. I was excited about showing you guys the one with the damaged tin litho. So all right, here's one of them. Let's see, there it is, and I think everybody can agree that that turned out super, super nice. So all right, very cool, very, very cool. So all right, very, very nice. So this is the one with the larger wheels and the plastic coupler. So all right, let's take a look at the next one. So let's see, do I need to, kind of need to wipe this guy off too? Man, I just did not do a good job at all on these. I was just too excited. Too excited to show you guys. So all right, this is the one that we mused might be the older one because it's got the metal couplers and the smaller wheels, but you know, once again, I don't know that. So all right, this guy had some rust and some discoloring here and along the bottom. As you can see, it mostly cleaned up. Once again, as time goes by, that will continue to clean, and every time that we get this out, we will clean it a little bit more, and a little bit more of that will come off. It's kind of weird how that works, but it, you know, as you saw on the dummy there, or not the dummy, the A unit with the messed up lithograph, it just somehow the WD-40 just somehow does it good, feeds it. I don't know. I don't know any other way to say it. Helps it out, makes it look better. All right, so and I'm used that I hope that my caboose was going to turn out well, and it turned out gorgeous. Turned out absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, that's really awesome. It's got a few little spots here on the roof still, and things that we'll need to keep an eye on, but you know, it'll get better as time goes on if we keep on top of it. So very, very nice. Wow, very cool. So all right, so last thing I want to do is I want to take the one that is for parts. I want to take the motor back out, and I want to go put it on the track, and let's check this motor out before we send it off to its new home. And I think you guys will agree that this was way too good for just parts. All right, let's go do that. All right, so we have the Marx Tinplate diesel power plant here on the track, and we're gonna give it a little test here. Gonna go forwards, pretty nice. Pulls those just fine, and then reverse, no problem whatsoever. So all right, let's get the tripod moved up a little bit, and we can watch it go around the track a few times, and then we're gonna box it up, and we're getting ready to send off. Let's do it. All right, guys, so let's give this guy a little bit of power. Man, this guy is smooth, smooth, smooth. This is one of the nicer Marx motors I think I've ever seen. This is really cool. It's really quiet, it's really smooth, it's just really, really nice. So I hope that this guy will find its place in its new locomotive, the B&O, like the one that I just showed you guys. And yeah, he'll breathe some new life into an old locomotive. That's gonna be really cool. That's a really awesome thought, isn't it? So all right guys, well, that's about it for tonight. You know, we saw how the Tinplate cars cleaned up, and of course, you know, when we get the next video done, we will run them and show them, you know, going around the track and so forth. I just chose not to do the mechanicals in this particular video because the other video with the steam locomotive, it got to be like an hour and 43 minutes, and frankly, nobody's gonna watch that. So all right, you know, we want to be entertaining, but we don't want to bore you. So all right, well, you know what? I think this is about it for tonight. I am super excited to send this guy on his way. I hope that he will have a nice life in another less dramatic, less crashed locomotive. So all right, until next time, GGS Railways out. So cool.